Wait a moment. This isn't a furry visual novel. Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming at you to the Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I can't wait until Christmas. It's going to be very nice. I had a really awesome Thanksgiving yesterday, guys. And I'm probably going to be at 1,100 subs by the time this video goes out, so thank you guys so much for all the support. Welcome to all you new people who are just joining the channel. Hope you enjoy your stay. Hope I can provide you with many years more content down the road. But anyway, guys, let's jump right back into it, shall we? Okay, so I saved it the choice, and there we go. All right, let's do it, guys. All right, let me see. One more sip of my coffee. Bam! Coffee done. All right, let's jump into it. What I want to see is an end to this emotional roller coaster. Roller coaster. Those words that come to my mind. They make no sense, but at the same time, I understand them. I shake my head in frustration. What is going on? What if she doesn't see it the way I do? If you claim if this is what was meant to be, Verissa is as much a part of it as you are. Besides, without her help, we're already fucked. That's when my eyes drift to the Black Wolf, brows risen in confusion. You keep saying we, but if it's Ranic who found me, how did you get involved? I'm not suspicious or accusatory, simply curious. I went looking for the fool when he was gone too long. Don't spiritual journeys take long? The Black Wolf covers his eyes in annoyance. It's just a tradition. You're told to go into the woods, find a rabbit eating moss, and realize we're all connected or some other crap. Vulgor nearly snarls in annoyance. I can sense he's not the one to believe in superstitions, and I find myself agreeing. When it took him an entire night to return, I decided to look for him, and there he was, fiddling with a naked mole rat. If you hate me so much, why didn't you just turn us in? Vulgor's eyes widen as he looks at me with surprise, but only for a moment before he composes himself again. I don't hate you, Piglet. You just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Besides, Ranic is my moon brother. I would never betray him. Then you're a good friend. Vulgor nods, as if me saying it hasn't made it any more valid. Every time he gets into trouble, I have to be there to save his furry ass. I look up toward Ranic with a slightly amused smile, noticing the wolf's embarrassment. Does he often find strange creatures in the woods? I don't know why I'm trying to break the tension, but both the wolves look at me with surprise. We laugh it off. No, this is the first time. His ultimate fuck-up. The black male jabs, but this time in a playful manner. No. I smile, but find myself disagreeing with the big wolf. He saved a life. That's not a mistake. Whatever happened to me, if I weren't found, I would surely have died. If not from exposure, then some animal would have done it. I chuckle at the absurdity. A thought of a wild wolf comes immediately to my mind, the beast simply eating me alive while I'm unconscious. Yet here I am, because a wolf man rescued me. Had he not Had he not found me, I would most likely be dead by now. Most likely. The Black Wolf tries to shrug indifferently, but there's almost a hint of discomfort in his voice. I look up at Ranok, touching his paw. Thank you. I place all the gratitude into those words I can muster. The wolf smiles, closing his eyes and nodding. Both of you. I smile at Vulgor, to which he only shrugs. He looks away, but I can see his tail give an idle flick. Bring Verissa. The Black Wolf nods in satisfaction and leaves the room. Be careful, though. That sneaky piglet is quite proficient with combs. I almost choke on a chuckle, completely thrown off by the remark. Combs? Ranic looks at me expectantly, clearly feeling that it left out from our inside joke. Never mind. I wave him away. As good as the joke was in the moment, I don't want to relive my first encounter with Vulgor just yet. With the Black Wolf gone, an awkward silence falls over the room, but I don't mind. Somehow this gray wolf makes me feel safe and at ease. I sit quietly on the bed, looking at the bright afternoon outside the window, anxiously kneading the sheets. Let me save it right here, guys. Ranic keeps standing in his spot, not moving or anything. Ugh. Still shaking off that morning tiredness. I can feel his gaze drill into me as he carefully inspects every inch of my body with a rather odd smile. What? What? In the butt. No. You keep staring at me. Being called out, Ranic turns his gaze to the side in embarrassment. Well, I've never seen a human before. Didn't you get a pretty good look when you found me? He still avoids facing me, the inside of his ears growing red. No, you were unconscious. I only did what I had to save you. I chuckle at his troubled reaction. I guess he took it the wrong way. If you've never seen a human before, how did you know I was one? Well, we have stories. Of humans? Among many others. We know you have pink skin, almost no fur aside from the head, that sort of stuff. I roll my eyes. Beige. Huh? My skin is beige. I'd have to stay out in the sun for quite a while to become pink. And humans can have a much darker complexion as well. Huh, is that so? I guess we just haven't dealt with those in the past. 1 second, guys. Ranic grins as we enter another awkward silence. The bright sun and distinctive smell of flowers makes me think of spring, although that doesn't seem quite right to me. It's almost as if the seasons got mixed up somehow. However, cool air brushing over my naked body convinces me beyond doubt that it is indeed spring. I shiver slightly, reminded that I'm not wearing any clothes. Why am I look down at my strange loincloth. Almost naked. Where are my clothes? I found you how the Mother Moon made you. That's funny. And this? I point to the material covering my groin. I've put that on for, obvious reasons. Right. My eyes widen in realization that this wolf had not only seen me naked, but also put on me what just as well could have been a diaper. I felt my face burning red, heat rising to my cheeks. Thank you. I blurt out awkwardly. I can see the wolf pick up on my train of thought as he looks to the side with his ears folded back, but he quickly regains his composure. You're welcome. As much as I want to change the subject, I need to make sure I understand what he meant. So, I was passed out in the woods, butt naked. Pretty much. He shrugs, clearly as uncomfortable with the topic as I am. I'm not sure why. It's not like he was the one whisked away in the nude by a strapping wolf man. This is some first-class damsel in distress crap. Weird. Yeah. The wolf sits down on the bed, leaving some distance between us. We avoid looking at each other, although we both sneak a peek from time to time. I can't understand what I was doing naked in the forest. It just doesn't sound like something I would do. It had to be someone else who did this to me, and it's an unsettling thought. Was I kidnapped? Mugged and left for dead? Or maybe drugged and taken into the woods? No! I shake my head. I don't even want to entertain that idea. However, I cannot help but wonder how I ended up there. And where's my home? I must have a family somewhere, someone who loves and cares about me. Someone who would be searching for me. But nothing comes to my mind, only this wolf. Without him, I would be completely alone here, and that's terrifying. Save it right here. I can hear his tail switch across the linen. He's either nervous or excited. His paw slides slowly across the bedding towards my leg. I try not to notice, curious what he is up to, until he pricks me with his dull claw. What are you doing? I scoff in amusement. Sorry, this is all new to me. I'm simply curious. Didn't mean any offense. He fidgets with his fingers, looking innocently at the window. No, it's fine, I guess. Seems only fair after I felt you up. Yeah, you took some liberties. He smirks, giving me a side eye. Okay, then. I decide to move closer to him, pushing out my chest with a challenging smile. Let's get even. I gently tease him, watching him closely all the while. Ranic looks at me with surprise in his eyes, but quickly smiles back, his tail wagging in obvious joy. He slowly reaches out his paw, hesitant to touch me outright. I think he doesn't want to come off as too eager, and I smirk, tilting my head a little in a really expression. He scoffs and finally musters the courage to make contact, touching my chest with his warm pads. I look down at his paw and can't help but feel amazed. It easily covers both my breasts, really driving home how tiny I am compared to this guy. Ranok rubs me gently for a moment, and then moves his paw up to my shoulder. It tickles, but I try to maintain my composure. Being touched like this is weird enough without me making it even weirder with girly giggles. If I'm really the first human he's ever met, then I know perfectly well how confusing and mesmerizing this has to be for him. After all, I've lived through the same experience just a few moments ago. You're quite something, he mutters, sliding his fingertips along my arm. Soft and fragile, your skin almost like parchment. I furrow my brows at the comparison, but then again, I guess it's true. And compared to them, I am quite fragile. Aren't you cold? He asks absent-mindedly, while brushing his paw across my side. Another ticklish cramp shoots through my body, and I can no longer rein in my instincts. I twist with a hearty laugh, pushing his paw away. Stop! That tickles! Oh? Oh no. Oh no. He gasps in amusement. Good to know. But yeah, I'm quite cold actually. Do you have any shirts I could borrow? Ranic grins awkwardly, pointing to his furry body. Right. I guess you have no need for any. The only thing I could offer is my spare gambeson, but I doubt it would be comfortable. He points to his padded quilt, and I have to agree. I'm not sure how I would even wear that. I just need to cover my top, really. I sigh, looking around for something else to cover myself with. I settle for one of the blankets that lays on the bed, tugging at it. Ranic stands up for a moment, allowing me to pull it out from underneath him. I wrap it around myself almost like a poncho, shielding my body from the draft. So, what do we do now? I ask, looking at the wolf with a risen brow. We could talk, get to know each other. I shake my head. I meant this whole mess we found ourselves in. Ah. Well, I think I'm responsible for returning you back to your people. Whoever they may be. I shrug, knowing full well I have no idea where I would even return to. None of this feels right. Even if it seems fairly real, I have a nagging feeling that I don't belong here. Almost as if it were just a dream, something I just need to ride out until I finally wake up. Let me save it right here, guys. Your memories will return in time, I'm sure of it. Well, I'm not. In the meantime, I just need to protect you. From what you two said earlier, that might be easier said than done. That's where Verissa comes in. She's our shaman. If anyone can figure out how to sort this out, it's her. Sort out how? Well, I can't hide you in my home forever. Sooner or later, someone would sniff you out. He frowns for just a moment, but a confident smile quickly returns to his muzzle. I just need to find an angle to present your case to our chief and ensure your safety. And what is my case? That you have a right to sanctuary. Meaning, it's an ancient Sylvan law, preceding any of the Wolven laws. It means that any gravely wounded creature should be granted protection within our forest. But I'm not wounded. I glance over my body, checking both the torso and the sides. I cannot see my back, so I reach out with my hand, trying to feel out anything. At least not gravely. I am sore, but my skin for the most part seems to be intact. When I found you, I thought you were, and even now, although you're not physically hurt, it's clear you've suffered some sort of trauma. If you found me naked, why would you think I was hurt? Ranic winces at the question. This doesn't bid well. Ranic? He remains silent, clearly struggling with the answer, and my voice fills with dread. Why did you think I was gravely wounded? You were covered in blood and viscera. A lot of it. I blink. What? I thought you were attacked and left for dead. What the hell? I can't even begin to imagine myself splayed out naked in the middle of the forest, let alone drenched in blood. But, again, I reach around to fill up my body and find nothing. The blood couldn't have been mine. What was going on in that forest? This whole situation gets weirder and weirder with each word this wolf utters. You were unresponsive, and your heartbeat was so faint. I thought you were dying. His voice falters slightly, causing me to swallow hard. I'm glad I was out for that part. I had to try to save you, so I decided to bring you here. I came upon Vulgor halfway to the village. He might not want to admit it, but even he was shaken by your state. At least it made it easier to convince him to help smuggle you. I can't imagine Vulgor being moved by anything, and that one sentiment alone drives home how terrifying it must have looked. It seemed like you barely survived a massacre. Once we got here, I began cleaning you of all the blood, washing you bit by bit. I feel a hot flush as it dawns on me what this means. I was out cold, naked, and this wolf... You... washed me? I swallow heavily again, and the lump in my throat growing larger. Even though it's obvious he had to, the idea is quite embarrassing. He mirrors my discomfort, looking away with a defensive tone in his voice. I needed to find where the blood was coming from. But I couldn't find anything. There was not a single scratch on your body. He's so flustered that I almost feel bad for him. I didn't mean to insinuate anything. I smile at his hasty explanation, just wanting to put him at ease. There are a few now, I say with a cheeky grin, showing a few scrapes and bruises left by the black wolf. Although Ranic smiles for a moment, I can see his ears play back. My good intentions seem to have backfired. Sorry about that. It's not your fault. I touch his shoulder, trying to reassure him. Well, I did leave you in his care. True, and knowing him just for a few moments, I wouldn't leave him alone with another living being. I chuckle, trying to cheer him up. But you didn't have a choice. You save it right here, guys. Okay. Yeah. He sounds unconvinced, looking away towards the window. I can tell he feels responsible for me, and what Vulgor did doesn't sit well with him. I decide to drop the subject, but I appreciate seeing how much he cares about it. So, the blood wasn't mine? Ranic slumps, resting his elbows on his knees and looking straight at the floor. In retrospect, if it was yours, it would have meant that you were bled dry. There was so much of it. That's one of the reasons why Vol quickly turned against you. What? Why? To him, it meant you weren't a victim, but rather... He can't think I had anything to do with that. I protest, throwing my arms out. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I'm capable of eviscerating someone? Well, I don't think you are, but it did unsettle him. Besides, it goes deeper than that. I had a moral right to save you, had you been hurt, but you were not. I brought you into the village under a false pretense. But you didn't know at that time. I should have checked before I acted. As it stands, you're either dangerous or somehow involved with blood magic. I'm not I cut myself off, allowing his words to fully sink in. Wait, did you just say blood magic? Are you for real? I scoff. I am. There's magic? He looks at me with a serious gaze, as if ignoring my silly question. The more Vulgor and I thought about it, the more convinced we became that you were part of some sort of dark ritual. What? I freeze, not out of fright, but utter disbelief. I think you were meant as a sacrifice. My mind is spinning, unable to comprehend what I'm being told. I don't even... I pause, just staring blankly at the wall. You okay? Talking wolves. Strange feeling of dread. Whispers in the dark. And now blood magic? It's like a mad dream. I cannot contain the storm in my mind, and I just spew out everything in quick succession. I think I need to pause here. You keep saying these things, but I don't understand any of them. You might as well be talking in a foreign language. I get a massive headache just by listening to you. It's like you're from another fucking world. In a sense, we are. He shrugs casually, but to me, nothing about this is casual. I want to say something, but I am immediately cut off by the sound of the door opening in the adjacent room. Someone entered the cabin. They're here. The gray wolf raises to his feet, approaching the doors. Great, so much for my pause. I mumble in annoyance, knowing full well I'd have to digest another portion of complete nonsense. A female's voice reaches us from the other room, just as Ranic opens the doors. I bet it's the shaman they spoke of. Oh, wow. She's pretty. If this is another of your pathetic attempts at courtship, then... A white she-wolf snorts at Vulgor before she cuts off, entering the room. I'm immediately drawn to her moonstone. It's a quarter moon. By a Luna, it's an actual human! As opposed to what? An imaginary one? She looks quite young to be a shaman, and even though I'm not familiar with what shamans actually do, something tells me they should be a bit more experienced. That's what I usually think of as a shaman, is much older. Her golden eyes gaze at me with disbelief for a moment, before turning to Ranic. Have you lost your damned mind? She glares furiously at the Grey Wolf, who winces and slumps slightly in deference. Verissa? Now it's the female who stumbles back, evidently startled by the sound of her name coming from my lips. Did it speak my... Ah, yes! What a cliffhanger! Oh, I don't think I could have ended it more perfectly than that. Thank you, Alarm Chan. That was actually perfectly timed. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that little notification bell until the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!